Hey guys, we're back with another Manchester City video. Today I'm bringing you a Manchester City transfer update, and this is a big one, involving a lot of players who could leave City in the summer transfer window, as well as some possible arrivals. Before we start the video, as always, if you're enjoying the content, please subscribe to the channel. I'll keep you updated with all the latest City transfer news here on YouTube. So, if you're not already a subscriber, subscribe here, it's free. Don't forget to like the video. We'll try to hit the ambitious target of 100 likes. Also, leave your thoughts in the comments below. Now, let's talk transfers. Matheus Nunes could leave this summer, contract update. Starting with the departures, the first player I want to address is Matheus Nunes. Fabrizio Romano has stated that Manchester City do not intend to block Matheus Nunes from leaving in the upcoming summer transfer window, should a good offer come in. Matheus Nunes' agent, Jorge Mendes, is already aware of the interest from some clubs in the player. Now, it all depends on the agent. Will he be able to generate interest and bring concrete offers to Manchester City? If a good offer comes in, City should not make it difficult for Nunes to leave. Speaking of Jorge Mendes, I want to talk about him now. Another player who is represented by Jorge Mendes at Manchester City is Bernardo Silva. Fabrizio Romano has reported that Jorge Mendes will be in Manchester in the coming weeks to talk to the club about Bernardo Silva's future. According to Romano, there is a good chance that Bernardo Silva will leave Manchester City this summer. When the summer of 2025 arrives, he will only have 1 year left on his contract, meaning that his transfer would not be too expensive for potential suitors. Bernardo Silva is keen to return to the Iberian Peninsula when he leaves City, so we will see if there is any further interest from Barcelona, who have already been linked with the player. I don't know what Barcelona's financial situation is at the moment, but they don't usually spend a lot of money on signing players unless it is a free transfer. It is also unclear if there is any interest from other clubs in Spain or if any teams from Bernardo Silva's native Portugal will show an interest. Now, moving on, we have an update on Ederson, in a very similar situation. Ederson could leave this summer. Fabrizio Romano has reported that there is interest in Ederson and that he could leave Manchester City in the next transfer window. City's position is the same as ever. If a good offer comes in and Ederson makes it clear that he wants to leave, the club will not block his exit. This is the same situation as Matheus Nunes and Bernardo Silva. The same goes for John Stones, but there is one big difference. While Matheus Nunes, Bernardo Silva, and Ederson have already attracted real interest from clubs who have contacted their agents, in the case of Stones, City would be willing to sell him for the right price, but so far, there has been little concrete interest in signing him. All of this was reported by Fabrizio Romano. Now, on to the latest update. Kevin De Bruyne could leave this summer. Now, we have an interesting update regarding Kevin De Bruyne's possible departure. Gaughan has reported that the expectation is for De Bruyne to leave Manchester City this summer when his contract expires. He also stated that City could lose up to 5 first-team players in the next transfer window, with De Bruyne being one of them. Now, the question arises, who are these 5 players? Ilkay Gundogan is close to reaching the number of matches required in his contract, which could automatically trigger a 1-year extension. However, Gaughan pointed out that Gundogan is the type of player who could leave the club even if this clause is activated. If that happens, City might seek financial compensation. Additionally, Matheus Nunes and Ederson are also expected to receive offers from other clubs this summer. Other players who attracted interest in the last window, such as Mateo Kovac, with approaches from Saudi Arabia, and Jack Grealish, from Premier League clubs, could have their futures discussed. Manchester City is also concerned about John Stones' fitness and the fact that Bernardo Silva is entering the final year of his contract, which could generate more interest from clubs. James McGrath, who also has just 1 year left on his contract, is another name that could leave. If I had to predict who will actually leave City, I would say we will see a major midfield overhaul. De Bruyne and Kovac could depart, while Ederson might be sold as a goalkeeper. Jack Grealish is another one to keep an eye on. Additionally, Kyle Walker, who is no longer considered part of City's long-term plans, and Calvin Phillips are expected to leave the club. Journalist Sacha Tavolieri has reported that the representatives of De Bruyne, Bernardo Silva, John Stones, Gundogan, Kovac, and Ederson have already been informed by Manchester City that their clients should start looking for new clubs once the transfer window opens. However, Fabrizio Romano has stated that these reports are just rumors and that City has not officially communicated any player regarding a potential departure. Even so, there is an expectation of changes in Manchester City's first-team squad. Fabrizio Romano added that the club has not yet told Kevin De Bruyne that his time is up, but there is real interest from Saudi Arabia and teams in the United States who are monitoring his contract situation on a weekly basis. It's important to remember that any team outside of England can negotiate directly with De Bruyne and sign a pre-contract. However, he wants to hear from City before making any decisions. If De Bruyne leaves, City will need to find a replacement. Paul Hirst reported that, for now, City would like him to stay for another season and that De Bruyne himself would accept less playing time as he is comfortable at the club. However, for that to happen, he would likely have to accept a salary reduction. We will continue to monitor Kevin De Bruyne and the potential departures from Manchester City. Now, moving on to possible arrivals. James Trafford is still an option for City. The latest update on goalkeeper James Trafford comes from the Daily Mail, who have reported that Manchester City have a buyback clause active in the player's contract with Burnley. Trafford, 22, is a former City goalkeeper who came through the club's academy and is English. Newcastle are still the leading contenders to sign him, but City's buyback clause is set at £40 million, which is exactly what Burnley set for his summer transfer. Newcastle are apparently willing to pay that amount, so if City want to bring James Trafford back, they will need to act quickly. With doubts over the futures of Stefan Ortega Moreno and Ederson, it remains to be seen whether City will consider this option. And on the subject of goalkeepers, that brings us to the next topic. City are also keeping an eye on Diogo Costa. Update on Diogo Costa, the goalkeeper City were linked with last summer. Italy's Mercato reports that Manchester City are looking for goalkeepers and have identified FC Porto's Diogo Costa as their top priority. The club have already contacted the 25-year-old Portuguese goalkeeper's entourage. I would also consider him as my main replacement should Ederson leave the club this summer. I think he is a quality goalkeeper, but we'll see. City have good connections in the Portuguese league, especially with Hugo Viana, the club's new sporting director, who joined from Sporting Clube de Portugal. Now, on to the next update. Samuele Ricci is still on Manchester City's radar. We also have an update on another player City were heavily linked with during the January transfer window, Torino's Samuele Ricci. Sacha Tavolieri has stated that with a need for a midfield transition, Manchester City are still interested in Samuele Ricci. Remember, he is a 23-year-old Italian central midfielder who can also play as a defensive midfielder. City's interest in him remains, although he signed a new contract with Torino during the January transfer window, but is open to leaving the club in the summer. Torino are also willing to sell him if the price is right. There is interest from Italy, including AC Milan. Now, moving on to the next name. City monitoring Sporting CP's Ousmane Diomonde. Sacha Tavolieri has also reported that City are keeping tabs on Sporting CP's Ousmane Diomonde. He's a defender, and is not the first defender to be linked with a move to Manchester City this summer. I assume that while City are focusing on midfield, they are also looking at options in defense. I don't know what that would mean for the future of players like John Stones, Nathan Ake or Manuel Akanji, but Diomonde, a 21-year-old centre-back from the Ivory Coast, is of interest to City. Hugo Viana, with his experience at Sporting, is likely to know the player well. City will continue to monitor his situation throughout the summer. Now, on to the next update. Manchester City still in talks to sign Andrea Cambiaso. The latest update on Andrea Cambiaso, the 25-year-old Juventus left-back from Italy. Sacha Tavolieri says he is still on Manchester City's radar, who are in contact with the player's entourage to try and get a deal done. He is City's top priority when it comes to full-backs for the summer, with the club viewing him as a right-back as they appreciate his ambidextrous and versatile nature. Juventus are asking for between €60 million and €80 million, which is likely to be the summer transfer window figure as well. It remains to be seen whether City can come to an agreement before the transfer window even opens, as a preliminary agreement is possible. The Mail's Mike MCG claims that Manchester City are still interested in Cambiaso, but if they cannot get a deal done, they are interested in Newcastle fullback Tino Livramento as an alternative. He also mentioned that City are focusing on the midfield and number 8 position, which could indicate that Ilkay Gundogan will leave the club in the summer. Florian Wirtz is the option to replace Kevin De Bruyne. Sacha Tavolieri has also reported that Pep Guardiola has chosen Florian Wirtz as the player he wants to replace Kevin De Bruyne. City made approaches in January to try and sign Wirtz, and his entourage informed them that the cost would be over €100 million, plus bonuses, to complete the deal. A large part of the negotiation will depend on what Wirtz decides to do, as he is close to signing a new contract, according to reports from Germany. If he signs, there will be a release clause, but it will only become active in the summer of 2026, not 2025. Therefore, if City wants to bring Wirtz in this summer, they will have to talk to his entourage to try and prevent the new contract from being signed and close a deal. De Bruyne's contract runs until June this year, so it is in City's best interest to think long-term about his replacement. Jack Gaughan has said that Manchester City sees Wirtz and Phil Foden as their ideal midfield duo and wants Wirtz to be the leader of this transition in the future. Martin Blackburn, a reliable journalist covering City, has stated that Manchester City is prepared to compete with Real Madrid to try and sign Wirtz this summer, but the player is interested in moving to Madrid, which could be an obstacle. Paul Hirst has also reported that Wirtz is Manchester City's top target for the summer. The Mail has reported that Bayer Leverkusen is interested in Manchester City's James McGrath, and that if City signs Florian Wirtz, Leverkusen would like to include McGrath in the deal. McGrath has yet to sign a new contract with Manchester City and will enter his final year of contract this summer, another situation I'm closely monitoring. If Xabi Alonso leaves Bayer Leverkusen for Real Madrid, I can imagine Florian Wirtz being interested in reuniting with him in Madrid. There are many potential obstacles in this deal, so City will have to act quickly, be smart, and be efficient to make it happen. It's a similar situation to when City signed Erling Haaland. It's possible, but the negotiation will need to move fast, especially if it happens in May or June. That was today's transfer update. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a like, it would be greatly appreciated. We'll try to reach 100 likes. Don't forget to leave your comments below, subscribe to the channel and activate the bell to receive notifications. Thanks everyone for watching. See you soon, guys.